Hello, hello, hello again, beautiful people and a beautiful soul. Oh, I'm trying to use this leaf to hold the little camera. Let's see if it'll work. Okay, I have to use another one. Alright. Get away, silly doggy. Okay, is that better? I'm putting up my hair. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about my spiritual awakening. It was very long ago. I really, to be honest, it was more of a ego death, and it was more of like an ego death meets like a wake-up call. Like, 1 minute I was not knowing the matrix we live in, and I wasn't aware of the duality of life. I just a normal person who had normal things happen to them and was unaware of why everything's happening. And it wasn't until I did a lot of research, I was meditating, practicing daily, doing my mantras, and really going within myself and making sure that everything that I do was for a cause and a purpose. I really had to go within, because it wasn't induced by drugs or anything, my spiritual awakening. It was induced purely on thinking I was crazy. I thought I was so crazy and no one else could understand the concepts that I was starting to wake up to and understand for the very first time. I realized that life comes down to three things. It comes down to energy, frequency, and vibrations. And it's your energy that you put out into the world is the energy that you're gonna get back into the world. It's what you're gonna receive. It's a give take. It's the duality. It's the yin yang. It's the light and the dark. And what we all live in is the gray area. It's what we choose to live in. And we think of things as such black and white in society. And, like, for example, the energy. So if I'm usually a very positive, she just took the little leaves I was using to hold the camera. She just took it. That's okay though. So I was getting my train of thought again. But for example, I'm a very positive, high energy person, but I also have the low energy, and my low energies are very low. There's nothing else to put it. No other way to put it. My bad. And we live in a society that tells us no is yes, right? And that yes is no. And that you're either this way or you're that way. And when you have a spiritual awakening, you realize that that's complete and utter ludicrous. That's not yes and no. It's the duality within the trinity of it all. It's the energies that you put out into the world and that you're going to receive back onto you. I put out positive energy, so I'm going to get positive energy, but you also have to protect your energy. You also have to make sure that you have the right frequencies. I can be vibrating at a different frequency than everybody else, and that's okay. But everyone vibrates to their own frequencies, to own different frequencies. Everyone has different frequencies that they put out in the world, and frequencies are all over the place. Let me tell you, before my spiritual experience, my spiritual journey, before my spiritual awakening, before my kundalini awoke and everything, I didn't understand the way that physicists thought in the world. I thought it was just a bunch of bullshit. Yeah. And I didn't realize that life is more, but it's also less. And there's so much that you get out of it by just being true to you. So, yeah, that's a little bit about my spiritual experiences. I legit thought I was crazy. I thought I was so crazy, and I was trying to explain it to people who did not understand it. I reached like this 4th level dimension, which I think, so the first dimensions that I've come to realize, I realized that the first dimension is you, or not you per se, but it's me. The first is me, the second is you, the third is what you live in, like the world today, like going to work, going to school, doing this, doing that. And the 4th dimension is when you reach that level of spiritual awakening. That's when I think you reach your spiritual awakening. And number 5, in my opinion, is when you reach that level of you're not spiritual awakened anymore. You're living in society, and you're a highly spiritual enlightened being on here on the planet, and you're well aware of that, and you work to enlighten others. That's what I think the 5 dimensions are. And you realize that we're all gods too. Shocker. We're all gods. That's number 5 to me. And then there's 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, and we can get boom, like there's infinite level of dimensions, but from my understanding, I see 5 of right now that pertain to my spiritual journey. But yeah, I hope that was informative. And I hope that you spread your light, spread your might, and stay awakened to who you truly are and who you are called to be on this plane, on this earth, that we're here. It's crazy. And you can get into the manifestations, astral projections, lucid dreaming, all that other mind-blowing things as well, but what it comes down to is truly understanding who you are. And that is what I think a spiritual awakening is realizing that who you are is different from who you ought to be which is what you're called to do, and it's different on how you see. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, we love learning.